didn't see any cameras there.
Oh, the camera was boom, there. And the announcers, they made a couple of cracks about you.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I would be willing, given the price, to do 13 different ones. It's not like the other ones are bad, so that'd probably be good for me to expand my horizon.
Your horizon for blizzards?
Well, at 85 cents, I'll try anything. Even if it's bad, I just throw it in the trash.
What were they saying?
That you had ice cream all over your face. They were talking about how funny you look.
Maybe Gwen saw it. Maybe that's what did it.
Well, I tell you, it wasn't a pretty sight.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count.
I may like opening day better than my birthday. And that is saying something.
Holy
you
bleep.
guys know how much I like my own birthday.
Happy holiday, guys.
It is a holiday. I love opening day. Because, the eternal optimist that I am. When you see me, you're like, oh, Jen, she's an optimist. She's always looking on the bright side of things.
She's always bringing a ray of sunshine into our lives every morning at 7.
So the goal for today's show is to only be optimistic, to only be excited, to only be looking on the bright side of things when it comes to all of the things. And that is going to be hard for a known cynic like myself. But I'm up to the task. I'm up to the challenge. No negativity this morning as we celebrate opening day, Major League Baseball. I saw Bob Nightingale tweeted this morning, and I didn't realize this until I saw his tweet. Today is the first time since the 60s? Something, again, now I'm guessing, which is not great, but that every single team is starting the season on the same day.
On the same day, yeah.
Because for a while they did the thing where it was like opening night or opening day, but it was just 2 teams that were picked.
Well, and then they would stagger it because the Brewers aren't scheduled to play tomorrow, for example, because they build in that extra off day just in case there's inclement weather. Again, you could have just, scheduled the game to start 90 miles north.
At our fine
then
spot.
we would know the game.
For sure.
It looks like the weather's going to be fine, so I think they're going to play today. But they always,
cold,
in a lot of
though,
those
right?
weathers.
Cold?
Yesterday I looked at it was like 50.
Oh, that's much better than I thought. When I was out of town yesterday, I was checking the weather, and I read an article. I think it was pretty reputable. It was like ABC News. No reputable.
Come on.
Sorry, you wanted to jump in there. And it was saying that there's some big storm out west in California that is making its way towards us. And they said that Chicago would be in the path. They didn't know if it was going to hit today or tomorrow. So it sounds like maybe things have shifted. Oh, shocking that weather reports are unreliable.
All right, let's just double check.
But speaking of double checking, I'll play Tony Reale stat boy here on myself. Bob Nightingale did in fact tweet the first time since 1968, so my memory has not completely gone yet, that every team is scheduled to play its season opener on the same day. Happy opening day, baseball fans.
There is going to be some wind, but at 1, but the wind's not coming until later. So 1 p.m., 44 degrees. In Chicago.
Okay.
But
44.
no precipitation.
Okay, well, good. Although I do think, and again, I want to make sure we are still walking that fine line of optimism. I do think that if you are building any stadiums, new stadiums, north stadiums, it should be required to have a roof. Whether it's baseball, whether it's NFL. I just think that, traditionally they do that with the NBA, so I think we're good there. I'm just saying.
That would be a hell of a pitch. Seattle's like, hey, open air basketball. Who says no? Come on, guys. Give us a franchise.
Exactly. Of all the places, too. Precipitation is never an issue in the Pacific Northwest. I do think, though, that, and we talk about this with the Buffalo Bills, not just to be crossing streams here, but you're building a new stadium. You're going to be spending in the billions. Why not just spend another billion and put a retractable roof on it? That way you can have the beauty and the appeal of having the open air stadium, but also when you have inclement weather like you're going to in Buffalo, you also have the option of getting those games.
I mean, you have me with baseball. Yes, should have a roof, because even when then, you open up the panels, open up the roof, you get a beautiful feeling for the Brewers. Again, when they're here next Monday and we have the home opener, which will be at Magoo's on the Mound, by the way, when they have a home opener next Monday, 7 to 9, stop by, say hi. I believe it opens at 8 a.m. But the roof is going to be closed. You're going to have the game, but you have a beautiful summer day. You open up the roof, and it feels fantastic. But in football, too many fans just love the hard-nosed, old school. TV loves the snow games because they look fantastic on TV. It's going to be that would be a much tougher battle in the NFL. But you have stupid teams doing it all the time in baseball. Like, they built a beautiful facility up in Minneapolis. Oh, it is gorgeous. If you've ever been to Target Field, it is spectacular. Love that ballpark. It is dumb to build a stadium that far north and not put a roof on it. It's just dumb for baseball.
So when I ask this poll question, because I love this so much and I wholeheartedly 1,000,000% agree with you that every single ballpark, I personally believe every single stadium and ballpark should have at least a retractable roof. If you're spending billions of dollars, you can have a retractable roof. So are we putting the poll just as ballparks or stadiums or ballparks when I ask this question? Because I obviously bias. I want to ask the way I want to ask.
You want to ask it? You want to ask it baseball related, specific to
want
baseball?
to ask it. I want all stadiums to have it.
The retractable option.
Retractable.
And it doesn't have to be the fan version that the Brewers have, that they have at AmFam Field, right? Because I always go back to the way that they've done it out in Arizona. That might be the same. Now I'm not recalling. But either way, there are several different ways that you can do the retractable roof, right? You can open it from the middle and go to the sides. Who am I thinking of, guys? It's the stadium that has that option.
The Brewers?
No, the Brewers have the fan. The fan that opens.
Sorry, I thought you meant how it goes on the side. I was like,
and we're doing
Brewers do
visual
that.
aids here. We're doing trade.
I
Two
go to the
words
cameras.
sounds like knock on. Like,
I know we're streaming now, Jem, but we're still typically an audio medium.
Fans open, but there are other ones that pull from the middle and go like this, and I just can't think of.
Yeah,
what
I think the Arizona one does.
Is it
that.
Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So you have options. It's not as though you're resigned to the one design that you have to do. It's crazy to me though that guys.
I think Toronto's like one side and goes just
Slides all the way
completely all the way over to the other.
It's crazy to me though that formerly Miller Park, now AmFam Field, that's 20 years old, like 20 plus years old. Like that must have just been like cutting edge technology when it happened, where it was like. It was like the robots now that are delivering our food, back in the day. If you'd been like, hey, one of these days you're going to have a car that drives itself,
So I remember I went to the second regular season game ever with my dad at then Miller Park. Because, opening day was a nightmare, right? Like, there's no way to get tickets. But the second game, we were able to get tickets and we went. And after the game, because it was such a big deal, they played the theme from Space Odyssey 2000 as they opened the roof. Because it was like an attraction. Like after the game,
what
everybody's
is the theme from Space Odyssey? Is
the Ric Flair theme.
Jen, anything here? I got nothing.
Oh, got it. See, you know how a drum works. Look at you over there with the drum. Are you sure that wasn't the one that's on your stomach?
It's more of the on the side.
It is opening day, so optimism is the only theme of the day, and some people not subscribing to that. They're not following that rule, because I put a poll out this morning talking about the best baseball songs, and immediately I also put a tweet out last night that was like one sleep till opening day. Got a bunch of people that were like, baseball, boo, baseball sucks, baseball's boring. Blah, 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 blah. I was surprised. I guess I just assumed that, like I feel. Even if you don't love baseball, which I actually do, but even if you don't love it, I always thought you got up for opening day. I always thought you got excited about it. And maybe it doesn't even have to do with baseball itself, but like opening day being the symbol that the weather's about to change, spring is right around the corner, we're about to have the days of summer, the boys of summer and whatnot. So there's something about like what baseball and opening day represents that I thought at least people could get behind, Gabe.
Yeah, but also your Twitter followers, I'm guessing there's a pretty strong base because of what you do for ESPN in the southeastern portion of the country.
Oh, you think so? It's more of college football.
So they obviously love college football. The weather there is pretty decent all year round. They didn't deal with the 8 inches of snow that we got here in Wisconsin and Milwaukee in particular over the past weekend. So, like, the turning of spring, yeah, maybe it's like a blooming of a different type of flower for them down there. But, yeah, when you love college football the way that they do down south, like, they don't, like, the Braves have had to move around. Like, the Braves struggled selling out playoff games despite going as many years in a row as they did. The Southeast is college football, college football, college football, maybe a little bit of pro football, college football, and then maybe they'll start thinking about baseball.
So since we are doing only optimism here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning in honor of opening day. Brewers taking on the Cubs this afternoon in Chicago. I don't want to tell you what the prognosticators are prognosticating, so I will say this. Almost every single expert is predicting that the Brewers will finish second
in the division.
Hell yeah, wild card, here we come.
I mean, I could silver lining my way through this whole show. Little surprised. I guess I assumed. Little surprised. I'm going to be honest with you. Because, yes, the Cardinals, which is obviously the team that everybody is saying is going to win the NL Central, have the hitters. But the Brewers obviously have not one, not two, but three guys. I think that make them, obviously, one of the best trios in all of Major League Baseball from a starting rotation standpoint.
Sure, but then you have the other 2 days, and guess what those hitters for the Cardinals are doing during those 2 days?
Still hitting?
They're still hitting.
Dang it.
So that's the problem. That's why teams, especially over the course of a 162-game season, you're going to lean more hitting than you are in the postseason. Whereas if the Brewers played a 7-game series against the Cardinals, I would feel really good about their opportunities because of those 3 guys that you just mentioned at the top of the rotation. But over the course of 162 games, that hitting's probably going to win out more than the pitching. So the Brewers need to have guys that step up and hit. They need William Contreras to kind of live up to some of the potential that he has. Made an all-star team last year, so hopefully he continues to build off of that. They need Jesse Winker to return to his form that he was with in Cincinnati versus the year he had in Seattle. Of course, the big one is Christian Yelich. Will these new rules help Christian Yelich and kind of get him to regain, not necessarily MVP form, but maybe even just pre-MVP form when he was an all-star for the Marlins?
Is there a new rule that you are on? Because I'll tell you what mine is. I'm on the banning of the shift. I don't love it. And I've been very adamant about this. I've talked about this on this show before, talked about it on other shows like Outside the Lines before. I don't understand taking away if you have a team that relies on its defense to compete. Because not everybody has the luxury of having the big boppers. Not everybody has the luxury of winning that way. Why are we now penalizing teams who have constructed their roster that, or have been forced to construct their roster that way, and taking a defensive advantage away from squads?
Sure, they may be taking that away, but I think teams are still going to be creative and try to figure things out, whether that's moving some outfielders around, because you can still put an outfielder if you want in, shallow right field for a left-handed hitter that might leave left field wide open. But you can still, I think you're going to see teams get creative. A shortstop can still shade up the middle, just has to be on his side of second base. If against the left-handed hitter, same thing with a second baseman against a left-handed hitter. So I think teams are still going to try to do what they can with the 2 infielders they can move around on that side. But whereas that door, you have to be more creative, they also open the door of baseball had become so much strikeout, walk, home run. Get a walk, maybe get a hit, wait for someone to hit a three-run home run, and that's how you, with the expanded bases and the pitch clock and the lack of times you can throw over, teams can now kind of go back to where you're built a little bit more on speed. Okay, you don't have the middle of the lineup that has 30 home runs, 40 home runs, 30 home runs, and you can take extra bases. You can be aggressive on the base paths and use speed to score runs, and hopefully with the shift rules, you can go walk, steal a base, little bloop single, next thing you know, you score a run.
Ashley, you also think that the banning of the shift is not necessarily a bad thing. Like you were saying this morning, you're actually excited to see how teams work around this.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about baseball that everyone talks about and complains about is the strategy. This is always the argument you hear with bunting, right? So I hate bunting. I think it's terrible. Everyone wants to argue about the strategy of baseball. Now you're forcing teams to get more strategic when it comes to how defensively they want to play. First baseman can only play certain ways now, but now you're going to have to shift first baseman in a way that you probably wouldn't have had to before, because in a shift they would have been in different opportunities. Right fielders, same thing. They're going to either have to decide to hug the line or come in closer or go towards center field. Center fielders are going to have to shift, and you have to know whenever player you're putting behind second base, essentially, or as close to that line, the measured line as possible. They're going to have to now know how hitters are in a different way that they would have had to know before if they were either shifted fully or if they were just playing their normal straight-up positions. I'm actually really excited. Like, the nerdy baseball fan in me is really excited for how teams are going to defensively manufacture plays almost in strategies.
I know a lot of times managers do try to vary up their lineup, right? You like to go lefty, righty, just because it can mess up a pitcher and the way that they're attacking the strike zone and whatnot. But now that actually behooves a team to do, because wherever you position yourself at the start of an inning, you have to stay on that side of of second base for the whole inning, right? Well, you can still be moving, but you kind of have to pick a side and stick with it until the inning is over at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have two on either side of second base at all times. But you can't, so
but
a lot of
once
times...
the ball is released, right?
Yeah.
Once the pitcher throws the ball, then you can
move around,
movement.
yeah, because the ball is presumably going to be in play. But yeah, some teams would, maybe shift that shortstop into short right field. Whatever side you start on, you have to keep on that side. So the shortstop and third baseman will always be on their side. You would see that. And then sometimes with like two strikes, they would rotate back and they would do different things because they would always want their best fielders in certain positions. So it's kind of more the traditional baseball, I guess, that you probably grew up. If you played Little League, if you played in high school, if you played in college, it's more of the traditional baseball that you're used to, where you just have the shortstop, third baseman, first baseman, second baseman, and they kind of stay on their respective sides of the infield.
It's an optimism-only day on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, which is going to be really tricky for me, who has implemented the optimism-only rule. Known pessimist, known cynic, Jen Latta over here.
You're upset about what Matt LaFleur said, and Jason Wilde's coming up next. Good luck.
Oh, the optimism only thing?
Yes.
Should we take
it is what it is.
should we put a hold on the optimism only?
You're the
just
one
for
who
one
declared
segment?
it optimism only, and now you want to put a hold on it?
Let me think
one
about
segment
it.
in?
Let me think about it. I'm like the weather people. I'm allowed to change my mind, Gabe.
Doesn't matter what age you are, low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. Kevin, the founder and CEO of Mentality, knows this, which is why he started Mentality, a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Kevin, much like myself, was dealing with low testosterone, didn't really know it. He was tired, groggy, just couldn't figure out why he didn't have the energy that he once had to get through his day, and he had that energy just a little while ago. Well, turns out it was his testosterone levels were low. Same thing with me. I was tired, groggy, just couldn't figure out why I didn't have that energy. Thought it was because I was doing the morning show, getting a little bit older. Turns out it was low testosterone. Mentality can help you. You book an appointment at lowtusa.com. Go in very quickly. You get a blood panel done. Within a week, they let you know where testosterone levels are. And if they are low, they start a customized treatment plan just for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It is customized just for you. Mentality allows that treatment to fit into every guy's lifestyle. Learn more about Mentality, their low testosterone treatments at lowtusa.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
If you're driving down 94 eastbound right now, you'll be tapping on the brakes from about Highway 181 up to Hawley Road. You'll be in the clear for a bit, but once you hit the stadium interchange, you'll be in a bit of a stop and go once again until you hit 35th Street. Otherwise, everything else is looking good on the roads. Time for a look at your Storm Team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, snow and rain late, and breezy with a high of 45. Tonight, rain showers, isolated thunderstorms, and windy with a low of 48. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Finn Askin on 94.5 ESPN.
Life's more rewarding at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, especially during our outdoor sale. Right now, get unbeatable deals on our quality selection of spring supplies for outdoor projects, like Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, only $69.99 after sale and $10 mail-in rebate. Save on Scott's Turf Builder with Halt's Crabgrass Preventer, $79.99 after sale and rebate. And new at Blaine's, Scott's Grub X Season-Long Grub Killer, just $54.99 after sale and $5 mail-in rebate. Shop our new Blaine's Farm and Fleet store in Grafton, located at 1771 Wisconsin Avenue.
Kessler's is America's largest employee-owned diamond store.
It's the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
As shoppers, we want better prices and more choices.
That's why we give you better prices and more choices.
We don't try to choose for you. We let you choose.
You can choose a diamond from a diamond mine.
A diamond as old as the earth itself.
You can choose a created diamond from a plasma chamber.
A diamond as new and fresh and sparkling as springtime.
And now you can choose a flickering firelight diamond.
Flickering firelight diamonds sparkle with a rich and regal golden glow.
At Kessler's, you choose from 3 different kinds of diamonds.
3 different kinds of diamonds.
Earth diamonds from diamond mines.
Created diamonds from plasma chambers.
And flickering firelight diamonds with a rich, regal golden glow.
We like to have choices, so we give you choices.
Kessler's is the diamond store where the owners think like you do.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Find the Kessler's nearest you at Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Natalia, solid dismount, but that little pause is a deduction.
Top tumblers hope to stick the landing with Coach Jasmine.
That aerial sequence still needs work.
She needs more certified athletic trainers to find her balance.
Focus. I'm going to need you for the all-around. Wait, who's spotting the vault?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ready, down, put. All Packers, all the time.
I think Packers fans have every right to be excited about those guys. I just think they need to temper their expectations, especially when you think about that they're going to be playing with a quarterback who is trying to figure it out himself.
Okay, most of the time.
Almonds specifically or all nuts?
Well, these nuts, those nuts, whatever nuts work.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Brought to you by Boucher Automotive. With 16 different new car brands and over 35 pre-owned brands to choose from. Boucher Automotive. We are driven by you. And by the Bridgewater Modern Grill. Nestled in the heart of Milwaukee's emerging harbor district. Enjoy a specialty crafted menu centered around a custom oak-fed grill.
And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life.
Is this Jason Wilde's preferred walk-up song for today, opening day?
It was as he was driving to X-Golf at AmFam Field to do his show live. He texted in and said, I'd like this to be my walk-up song. And I said, Jason, I got your back.
Good morning, Jason. It's an optimism-only day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, which you know I've already broken because I was complaining about banning the shift. So go figure. I am wildly inconsistent and you should expect nothing less, really.
But that's why we love you, right? You're slightly predictable and slightly cynical.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites. I'm not a big Monty Python guy generally, but Spamalot is a terrific musical, and as I listened to you make this a optimism-only zone, I thought you're like that song. Always look on the bright side of life, at least for the next hour and 36 minutes until you go about the rest of your day.
That's exactly right. And although Gabe Neitzel did say that it is going to be difficult because we do want to talk to you about Matt LaFleur talking about Jordan Love.
You know, it is
I was
what
about
it
to
is.
say, Jen, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Did Matt LaFleur do Jordan Love dirty there, Jason? Because that was my reaction to hearing that.
No, I don't think so at all. And you know, first of all, I want to say, Gabe, outstanding job going through all the different rules changes in baseball. And describing it as, especially with the shift, it looking a little more like we might remember in high school or in Little League, or in your case, college. I'm old school. In fact, I'm wearing the old Brewers glove logo sweatshirt today, trying to pretend that I'm some sort of fan. And I'm really eager to see what baseball looks like with all these different rules. You know, the limit on pickoffs and the pitch clock and all this other stuff. I'm intrigued and I'm skeptical, but I know I'm not allowed to be skeptical on the program, so I'll move on.
Well, I mean, Matt LaFleur seemed a little skeptical on Jordan Love.
Right, and good on him. Like, I was just listening to not only this program, but then my usual walk-up Tecmo Bowl music, and the little clip that Ashton has in there right now. I use the exact same phrase. I'm talking about Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, and then Jordan Love by extension. But I said, temper our expectations. And that's what Matt LaFleur said. And I thought, you know, and I was going to text Matt this once he got back from Phoenix. I thought he did an outstanding job at breakfast. I didn't go this year. I think I kind of want to go back to going to the NFL meetings because there's a lot that goes on there. But first of all, what he said about Rodgers, I thought it was no matter how much of a dink you think Rodgers is, or a kook, or a hippie weirdo, or a liar, or a playoff choker, or whatever you think about him, and you are entitled to all those opinions if you are a Packers fan, whichever ones you choose, you can choose those. And I certainly would say that he is far from perfect. And there are things about this scenario that we find ourselves in today that Aaron Rodgers absolutely, undoubtedly deserves criticism for. But I thought what Matt LaFleur said about how much he benefited and his coaches benefited and other players benefited, I thought he nailed it. And Bill Huber from Sports Illustrated did a really good column about it. I mean, is Alan Lazard getting 4 years, $44 million from the New York Jets if he didn't play with Aaron Rodgers?
Probably not.
Is Joe Barry still a defensive coordinator? Is Matt LaFleur working on his second contract with the Packers? Is Brian Gutekunst working on his second contract with the Packers? Do we have Titletown in Green Bay? Like I always said that Brett Favre got the redeveloped Lambeau Field built, and Rodgers got Titletown built. Winning does that. And one of my pet peeves about Mark Murphy and some other folks over at 1265 Lombardi Avenue is that they think it's their brilliance that leads to Titletown and people going on stadium tours and people going through the Hall of Fame. And certainly there are diehard fans who do that. But if your numbers spike for tours, it's probably because the team is winning. And Aaron Rodgers had a huge part in that, no matter how disappointed he might have been with some of their playoff exits. So I thought that, first of all, LaFleur did a great job on that. And then I love the fact that he actually made the effort to tamp down expectations for a first-year starter. Like, we have all the evidence in the world of how hard it is, no matter if you start as a rookie or you start as a first or second-year player or, in Jordan Love's case, a third-year player, how hard it is to be really good the first time you're a starter. And the general manager who drafted him has had a few comments that have reminded people that we need to be patient, but more often than not, absolutely he's ready to be a starter, stuff like that. And I thought the coach did a really good job of not ripping his new quarterback, but laying the foundation for people to be a little more realistic as opposed to the folks, and there's a few people that have Substacks and whatever else, that are anointing him as the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. And I just don't think that that's realistic to expect from him in the short term.
Jason Wilde hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning, talking a little Packers on opening day for your Milwaukee Brewers. We were discussing this in our production meeting this morning, Jason. Should the Jets be willing to wait for the Packers, rather? Or, because I've heard this idea of, why wouldn't you, if you're the Jets now, just at least make it seem as though you were interested in Lamar Jackson or some other option, which I don't think there are a ton of them out there, to be perfectly honest with you, to as part of this strategy thing to force the hand? Are we past the whole forcing the hand thing? These guys like each other so much, and Joe Douglas and Brian Gutekunst, that they're not going to play games. They're just going to hope that somebody caves or gives in. Like, do the Jets have any other plays here other than wait?
Well, the most important play that they have is to not have their owner, who admitted he was anxious to get a trade done, suddenly say, just give him the 13th pick and let's be done with it. Now, Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports had a really interesting column.
Really good.
And part of that I thought was fascinating. And look, I'm reading between the lines here because Charles did not write it, that it sounded to me like maybe the owner himself was like, dude, we're not giving up a first-round pick for a guy who can't even promise us that he's going to play in 2024. And so, they're now at this point where there's a, kind of this impasse, and Goody has, at least according to what Goody said himself in Phoenix, moved off demanding the 13th overall pick. And now the latest sticking point is that the Jets want some sort of a give-back pick in 2025 if Rodgers ends up not playing in 2024. Look, again, I understand everybody wants a king's ransom for Rodgers. If I'm the Jets, and I know we've spent the last 2+ weeks since Rodgers went on McAfee debating who has the greater amount of leverage, But I thought there was some real honest, from both sides, discussion of where they stand. Certainly the Packers would love picks the sooner the better. And they want to get help for Jordan Love. And quite frankly, given their depth charts at wide receiver and tight end, they clearly are going to have to draft players at those positions because they've kind of missed the free agent boat at them. So they want draft picks right away. And I think the Jets are honest when they say, yeah, it would be great to have Rodgers at our offseason program. But the bottom line is, as long as he's there for the start of training camp, we're not really all that worried. And so we're not feeling pressure. So, pretending that they're interested in Lamar Jackson, I guess, would be a play, Jen, but I don't think they need to do that. I think they're in a good place as long as their owner doesn't panic.
Well, Jason, you brought it up. So does this mean we're going to see Sammy Watkins come back to the Green Bay Packers? Because who else is out there to be a veteran in that room?
Yeah, I think Geronimo Allison might still be available.
Ooh.
I got along great with Sammy. I certainly went in with higher expectations than I had any right to have for him, and I was completely wrong. And he does, I'll say this, he definitely speaks honestly, whether it's, telling the world that he missed the signal from Rodgers when they lost the Lions in Detroit, and that's something that obviously is a challenge for people that are new, and maybe if you spent more time with them, they would know them better. And then going to Baltimore and basically saying, yeah, there's a bunch of guys in this locker room who are wondering, with a chance to be a Super Bowl team, why our quarterback's not playing injured. So I would welcome Sammy back with open arms, but I don't see that as a play. This is one of the many problems with the way, Goody, it feels like to me that there is at least a portion of the fan base that are just all Goody stands. And I don't know. I like to think of myself as trying to see both sides of everything. It doesn't work in political discourse, and I'm finding it doesn't work in Packers discourse either. Like, I think Goody's done some really good things. He's had some really good draft picks. But I think it's a complete fallacy that he's been active in free agency beyond 2019, and you can say it's because of their cap situation, and that's a fair argument as well. But I don't think his draft picks have been very good. He's had some very good ones, and then he's had entirely too many who haven't been good, and then some that people want to be really excited about that the jury is very much still out on.
Hey, Jason, I don't think that it's a Goody thing, to be honest with you. I don't think that people are out here standing for Goody. I think Goody represents the franchise. And there are people, because Gabe said this the other day, like it's almost a begrudgingly siding with Goody because he represents the Green Bay Packers that Gabe is going to continue having a relationship with even after Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Maybe, but there are some people that are much more adamant in their support of him on social media, and maybe that's also tied to their hatred for the quarterback. But the bottom line is that they have put themselves, unlike Ted, who certainly had his shortcomings. Ted always made sure that his quarterbacks were plied with lots of offensive weapons, right? I would say that you look at his drafts, and there were a lot of wide receivers taken. Now, not all of them were great, but most of them really were really, really good players. And Goody had the 2018 draft where he went 4th, 5th, and 6th round at receiver. Then he, as he does with pretty much every third-round pick he makes, whiffed on the third-round pick in Amari Rodgers. And then finally, last season, went after trading away the best wide receiver in football and went and got 2nd round, 4th round, 7th round wide receivers. Well, now you don't have like that guy who's going into year 3 or year 4 who has emerged as a really reliable guy. You just let Alan Lazard walk, which I have no problem with. But, now you've got a young quarterback who is going to be a first-year starter, and who's he got at tight end? I like Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs at wide receiver, but they are going to have lots of growing pains still. They are second-year players. And now add to that a young quarterback. I think they've put themselves in a very difficult position offensively with the way they have built this roster over the years. And, again, Christian Watson could be a really, really good player. He had a 4-game stretch where he was awesome. But wouldn't it be nice, and I wouldn't have Jordan Love if this was the case, but wouldn't it be nice to have like T. Higgins as like your number one after you traded away Devontae Adams. Like they're in a position where they have not put around Jordan Love a ton of offensive talent to make it easier on him to be successful in his first year as a starter.
Jason, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Have a great show live from X Golf at AmFam Field, and we'll talk to you again soon.
See you out there, buddy.
I will keep listening and staying with you on my drive as I come up on Mequon. So keep up the great work and keep up the positivity. Take care. Be good.
Optimism only here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I feel like now we've done 2 segments on the show. Gabe, how are we doing on the optimism only?
0 for 2.
0 for 2. But there's always time to turn it around. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
Full show podcasts, interviews, and special content is available right now at WisconsinOnDemand.com. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on 94.5 ESPN.
Still just those delays on 94 eastbound as you head towards the city. A little bit of slowdown from Highway 181 up to Holly Road, and then the slowdown at the Stadium Interchange is now extending past 35th Street. The biggest slowdown is coming for people taking the exit from the Stadium Freeway onto 94 East. Looks like you'll just be taking that ramp pretty slow. Otherwise, everything is looking good on the roads. Time for a look at your storm team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, snow and rain late and breezy with a high of 45. And tonight, rain showers, isolated thunderstorms, and windy with a low of 48. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Finn Askin on 94.5 ESPN.
Weather is brought to you by Great Lakes Dragway. The weather outside may be frightful, but the track at Great Lakes Dragway is heating up ahead of the 2023 race season. Find season passes and race schedules at GreatLakesDragway.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, sponsored by Ridgetop Exteriors on 94.5 ESPN. There are fewer things better than basketball and pizza, which is why we're teaming up with Palermo's Pizza for the Palermo's Pizza Bracket Challenge. Follow along for the remainder of the tourney as 16 lucky fans are assigned teams, and to the victor go all the spoils. Even if you're not part of the bracket challenge, Palermo's Pizza is the best sixth man off the bench when it comes to enjoying the games. Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
You're about to experience the impressive performance of the new Acura MDX Type S. With a powerful turbo V6 engine with 355 horsepower. It has room for the driver and 6 passengers. Also, it's perfect for your family. The new Acura MDX Type S. Acura. Precision crafted performance.
See Acura of Brookfield, member of the Wisconsin Acura dealers.
Take your first shot at hoops with FanDuel Sportsbook. Sign up today by going to FanDuel.com/play and make every moment more with FanDuel.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit KESGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
We believe the best things take time. You have your obsessions. Ours is crafting the best slow-smoked barbecue in the state, crafted only from humanely raised meats, dry rub, slowly smoked, and sauced by you. Add Smoke Shack to the top of your list the next time your hunger is trying to throw you off your game. Dine in, order takeout, or consider Smoke Shack to do the cooking for your next backyard barbecue celebration. Check us out in the historic 3rd Ward on Milwaukee Street or at smokeshack.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
If it's gotten to the point,
I don't think shower.
You what do you mean? What do you mean you're not going to take a shower? You just told me you're offended by your own BO.
No, but I think it's deodorant, Gabe. Showering does nothing. It really doesn't.
You are wrong.
Because
you must be showering wrong.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Very long intro on that song. Celebrating opening day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Your Milwaukee Brewers headed down to Chicago to take on the Chicago Cubs. And as we continue the optimism-only day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, I do want to tell you that in those projections that I was looking at last night about the NL Central, you should know that the Brewers were ahead of the Cubs in almost every single one. So there is your optimism for this segment.
I have no idea what the Cubs are. Like, no clue. Which, I mean, again, you have an idea what the Brewers are with the pitching that they have. The one question that you probably have about the Brewers pitching is that middle relief where they've had guys like Brad Boxberger who've been kind of the gap guys to get you to Williams and Hader in the past. But they've done such a good job of finding the Brad Boxbergers, the J.P. Fireeisens of the world that those are guys you had no idea who they were before they came to the Brewers. My guess is that they are going to find more guys like that to be able to fill those gaps in the bullpen.
So we were talking this morning about some of the new rules that you are going to see on the baseball diamond, and obviously you've seen a lot of them implemented during spring training if you were paying attention to those games. One of the things that we were talking about was the time of game and how obviously last year and in many years headed into now, which was a big reason for the rule change, was, of course, games were too long. Games are too long. People don't want to sit that long. Baseball is boring and all of the other tropes that you've heard for years and years and years about baseball. Do you feel like the pitch clock has had the benefit or had has worked out the way that they hoped and that it will continue to do so in the regular season?
To me, it's not about the time of game. It's about how quickly are things happening. And by speeding up the process that pitchers are going through, yes, the games are going to be shorter, but the action's going to come a little bit faster. There was an article by Jeff Passan at ESPN.com where he was like, there was an executive of a team that he was interviewing who, at a spring training game, after a pitch, just instinctively went to his phone. Because that's what baseball games are. Oh, watch a pitch. Okay, I got 30 seconds. I can kind of scroll, do whatever. Next thing you know is he hears the crack of the bat and he misses the play. Because things are starting to be, guy grounded out the second, whatever it was. But you're going to see quicker action, and that's what makes me excited for this. Look, these rule changes aren't for me. I'm watching baseball regardless. I'm the P1. I'm the guy that they've got sucked in no matter what. But the fact that you've got quicker action, and then couple that with the 237, so anybody who says, oh, baseball's too long, because, oh, by the way, NFL games, we don't talk about things that are long. Jen, the space you operate in, it feels like every Big 12 game goes 4.5 hours. But people don't seem to mind, right? Because they love football.
But also Big 12 is the example where they're scoring and scoring and scoring.
Yes.
And right, like the defenses barely show up. And so you
they're
see
playing
all
7-on-7 against air.
Enormous point totals.
Yeah. And so nobody seems to mind when those games go 4.5 hours. So I think.
So you're talking about, so what I think you're saying is it's because more is happening as opposed to it taking.
Not more. The same amount of action is happening, but it's being compressed down into a quicker time frame. So it can grab your attention and keep your attention easier. Because again, without the pitch clock, I mean, there are certain guys that took literally 30 or more seconds between pitches and gave you time to kind of disengage, whether you're at the game, whether you're sitting on your couch at home. It gave you the opportunity to disengage, grab your phone, and scroll.
Okay, so if you are a person out there, though, because I saw it, I said, I'm excited about opening day. Last night, I was excited about the fact that today we got to talk about baseball. Brewers will be in action against the Cubs today. And again, I was worried about the weather playing into it, but it doesn't sound like that is going to happen. And yet there were a number of people who were saying, baseball sucks. Baseball is boring. No one cares. And to your point, maybe there's a lot of college football people following me on social media, and it's those people responding to that. But if, in fact, you are one of those people who is written off baseball, what can the sport do to win you back? Because my challenge to those people this month is very simple. Watch again. You got nothing else going on. We're going to get through the Final Four. We're going to get through the national championship on Monday, and then all of a sudden you got kind of a stretch here where, and of course, you got the Bucks who are still obviously, top of the division and whatnot, and obviously will make a playoff push. But you got really nothing else going on. So watch baseball again with these new rules that have been implemented. That include the shift, that include the pitch clock and whatnot, the bigger bases, et cetera, the pickoff rules. And tell me if it doesn't pull you in. Tell me if they haven't done the things that will, in fact, attract those more casual baseball fans. Because my guess is that it will. My guess is that you'll be like, oh, I like this version of baseball.
I guess I'm skeptical of that. Because at the end of the day,
where's the optimism only?
Well, I mean, have we actually been optimistic? Just like as a whole.
I appreciate it. Go ahead. I appreciate the skepticism.
Yeah, I guess I should have waited. Like, we're close to a break here. We could have made it to the end of the segment.
Through one
we could still do it, guys.
Next segment?
We could still do it. We could pivot right now and do a read, and then you could hold your negativity for 5 minutes.
That doesn't count. He's already said he's skeptical.
I already said I'm skeptical.
I can delete it from the podcast. It's fine.
Fixed it in post.
We're doing that now, huh?
I won't actually do it, but I'll tell people that I'm gonna.
Because at the end of the day, it's still baseball. And either, to me, you like baseball or you don't. And what I'm hoping this does is it can draw in younger fans. Like the 37, 40, 45-year-old fan who's written off baseball, I doubt they're coming back. But I'm hoping that young, impressionable fans can be more drawn into this version of baseball versus what it became over the last 15, 20 years. I guess that's my hope, is that, look, if you've written out baseball, at the end of the day, this is still baseball, and you probably just don't like it. But maybe there's a younger version that we can get some more youth in this and kind of develop their fandom from there.
800-990-3776. 800-990-3776. That's our ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. If you've written off baseball, how could it win you back? What would it need to do to bring you back into the fold? Because it seems like they're trying. This is a hell of an effort from baseball, making all of these rules and potentially, quote unquote, ostracizing its hardcore fan base, because they could make the argument, we liked baseball the way that it was. You didn't need to make all these changes. So what could it do? What could baseball do to bring you back? What would you want to see from baseball? If you're one of these people who has already written it off, who was jumping in my Menchies last night saying that baseball sucks, baseball is boring, no one cares about baseball. Hey guys, have you been to St. Kate, the Arts Hotel yet? Because they are calling all tequila aficionados.
I'm in.
You're invited to an exclusive Don Julio tequila tasting experience on Saturday, April 8th. Mark it down, write it on your calendars. Saturday, April 8th, Don Julio tequila tasting experience at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. This one-day only event will be held in the Arc Theater at St. Kate and will be hosted by a master educator from Don Julio. How do I get the master educator title?
You have to drink enough Don Julio when you go to this event.
Oh, could I be a master educator in something else, perhaps? We think we should brainstorm that here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The experience includes samples of 7 distinctive varieties of Don Julio, each paired with a featured cocktail, along with food prepared by the hotel's executive chef, Paul Funk. Make your reservations today to attend the Don Julio tasting experience Saturday, April 8th at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. You can learn more about the Don Julio tequila tasting experience at stkatearts.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here for St. Kate the Arts Hotel. If you're looking to start the weekend right, head to Bubbles and Brunch at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Every weekend from 9 to 1 in Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar, this brunch is anything but basic. The atmosphere is set with a local DJ spinning music to set the mood, while the hotel's acclaimed culinary team offers up a menu of elevated breakfast dishes. Add to the fun with endless mimosas. Experience a brunch that is anything but basic at Giggly Champagne and Wine Bar inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Reservations available online. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com.
Basketball and Guinness, 2 reasons this is the best month of the year. Enjoy both together while watching your favorite team make a title run. Settle into the world of Guinness, over 260 years in the making. Enjoy a pint and the games at Kelly's Bleachers Big Ben, featuring softball, volleyball, and cornhole leagues, along with a tiki bar and live music this summer and fall. Also enjoy Guinness at AJ O'Brady's, Bub's, Magoo's, Social House, and Champs Lake Geneva.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive asks, what do a diehard fan watching the game at home?
With 4 seconds left.
A poorly placed good luck candle.
Don't let me down, Candle. Kick is up.
A last-second improbable win.
It's good!
Yes! And flammable sports-themed curtains have in common...
Whoa, jeez, whoa!
They can scorch your big win high and your beloved sports memorabilia.
Not my unwashed 1997 game-worn jersey! This is what dreams are made of!
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
People who have scored the most points for the Bucs since the 2013-14 season.
I don't have a guess then. Sorry.
All right, thanks for calling that.
He wins. Let him win. That was the greatest call ever.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Picks up his ball. He is undeterred. Says I am the greatest there has ever been. And he grits his teeth and he tries it again.
I put this on my Twitter poll. Which of these 4 songs is the best baseball song? And that, of course, The Greatest by Kenny Rogers. I also put Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen, Center Field by John
kind of a
Fogerty.
stretch.
I actually thought it was as well, to be honest with you, when I was looking. But apparently it is about a young baseball team. The song. It's about their baseball days. Yes.
The first verse.
I'm just telling you, that's
well, he meets a buddy he played baseball with, and they go and have a drink. That's the first verse of that
I guess
song.
they talk about baseball a little bit, right? They talk about how good he was
Maybe.
at baseball
I don't
or
know.
something. I thought it was a stretch as well.
It's 100% a stretch.
To be
what's
fair,
this song greatest?
the only other one did you? No, you have to hear the whole song.
I listened to it in break so I could find a part.
Do you know? No. You have to listen to the whole song. It's very sweet. It's about a
It's
kid.
lame.
It's a Kenny Rogers song.
I don't like it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. This does not get me pumped up to watch baseball.
I'm trying to be optimistic. This isn't helping me.
So a lot of people are voting for Center Field by John Fogerty.
Yeah, it's
In fact,
the
they're
only
saying-
answer. It's the only answer.
Which, again, goes to what I was trying to say initially, which was not a lot of baseball songs out there. Like, somebody tried to get me to add Boys of Summer by Bryan Adams, which, if you think that Glory Days is a reach, Boys of Summer is a huge reach. It has nothing to do with baseball.
Not even a little bit.
It was like when you and I were talking about, I said, would you consider Ace of Base the sign?
Yeah.
A baseball song. Because, they saw the sign. It opened up their eyes, and it was, take on 3-2.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they also sing at the end of that song, does the manager get fired then because she's happier now living without you, the person giving the sign.
Exactly. What's another one that you could make a case for, but...
Man, that has actually no chance.
Nothing at all. We said the outfield.
Well, but that's the band.
Well, but again, it's the outfield. They named it after the outfield.
That's
at least
true.
It's a part of the baseball field, right?
But I mean, Josie going on a vacation far away has nothing to do
with baseball, unless Josie's the name of the ball and somebody hit a dinger.
That's kind of like this. It's a great song. I'm playing that one next.
We are just stretching to try to make
But
connections.
if you named the ball Josie and somebody hit it out of the park, technically she is going on a vacation far away. I love The Greatest. And Ashton, because you didn't listen to the whole song, it's a little boy who's pitching to himself, right? He's throwing the ball up in the air and he's striking out, right? He's missing the ball.
Well, of course
and
he
then
is.
at the end, he says, even I didn't know I could pitch like that. And that's a cute little song, right? It comes full circle like that. He's excited about how good he is at pitching instead of how bad he is at hitting.
Like a loser.
If you
Yes.
If you have
He
written,
could throw up and hit the ball. It's right there. It's a ball. Just hit it, kid.
Right, because he's such a good pitcher.
Hey, what was he, the rookie of the year, throwing it underhand?
Float it. If you've written off baseball, how can it win you back? A lot of people this morning saying baseball stinks. We don't like baseball. Opening day is dumb. And there is a lot of reaction in the talk and text line. Gabe, you got it there in front of you? Have you seen any reaction
yeah.
to? And remember, it is optimism only day here, as spring hopes eternal on opening day.
Never mind. I don't have any then.
Really? There's nothing?
It's not. I mean, the best one is from Justin MKE. Rules are huge. I work with teenagers, can't stand baseball, and they don't care that much about the Brewers. When it comes to the NBA and NFL, they can't get enough. We need to get the youth back engaged.
Brandon from Tulsa weighing in saying, there is nothing baseball could do that would make me interested to watch. The small changes they made, I think, have just made it better for some, but I still think they spend most of their time standing around waiting for a pitch. I just can't watch that. J.M. McGuanago saying, doesn't eliminating the shift slow down the game as it produces more offense? I thought Major League Baseball wanted to speed the game up. You had numbers. You gave us time numbers.
Mm-hmm.
What were they?
An average Major League Baseball game last year was 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 44 seconds. During spring training, it was 2 hours and 37 minutes. And spring training, year over year, spring training run scoring was actually up about a half a run, I want to say. So scoring was up, time was down. The pace of it it allows hitters to potentially be more aggressive as well, because they know they can get on base instead of just trying to grind something out and hit the ball out of the ballpark. What baseball is hoping is that it revives the single, and guys are going to be aggressive early in the count to try to get on base instead of just trying to take three big swings and, okay, who cares if I strike out, because they're trying to hit a home run.
And you know what
that's
I love?
The only way to score.
I love more than anything, Gabe, it's a good single. A good infield single. Just really gets me going.
I will tell you this, one of the best feelings in baseball is squaring one up. I was a left-handed hitter, so like you just line it over the second baseman. You know it's going to fall before the right fielder, and you can just take that light jog around first base.
I could never take a light jog around first base. I always had to sprint full speed just in case. So sorry, I can't relate.
You know, like you square it up the first two.
Also, he's like 6'6". There's nothing light about
there's
Ashton's
nothing there that's
jogging.
like, if I hit it to left field, I better hit the wall, otherwise I got to worry about getting thrown out.
I will say this, though. I've never heard him talk about a woman as romantically as he just talked about that single right there. So maybe we're starting to figure out what some of the issues are. Nick from East Troy weighing in saying, I'm 31, can't watch baseball until the playoffs. I'm more excited to watch it now that the speed has changed, though. So there's one guy, Nick from East Troy, who is going to watch now. Now, again, maybe after a few weeks he'll decide it's not for him still, but at least he's going to give the new rules a chance. And really, that's all I think you can ask for right now. But I did see one here that I want to get to before we go to break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Matt in Fort Atkinson weighing in saying, you know what would make me watch baseball? A salary cap.
Ain't happening. Sorry, we're not going to grab you in.
I don't think it's a horrible idea, though. I don't think it's a horrible idea.
Unfortunately, the owners and players disagree.
Weigh in on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on my Twitter account. Which of these is the best baseball song? The Greatest by Kenny Rogers, Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen, which Gabe is protesting, Center Field by John Fogerty, or Right Field by Peter Palmieri, which we haven't even discussed yet, but I'm guessing Ashton is going to be out on that one as well. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We're now seeing those usual delays on 43 southbound. You'll be slowing down from Good Hope down to Hampton Road with about a 3-minute delay there. And then we're still seeing those delays on 94 eastbound, about a 4-minute delay from the zoo to downtown. Should take you about 10 minutes. Everything else is smooth sailing. In time for a look at your storm team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, snow and rain late and breezy with a high of 45. Tonight, rain showers, isolated thunderstorms, and windy with a low of 48. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Finn Askin on 94.5 ESPN.
The tourney field is being trimmed down, and we're crossing off the days on the calendar until a champ is crowned during Gruber Law Office's One Champs Week here on 94.5 ESPN. Which team will leave H-Town with the big trophy? Is it the year of the underdog and Cinderella stories, or will the lone championship experience team win out when the dust settles this weekend? Stay tuned to 94.5 ESPN all week long and don't miss a second of the action. One Champs Week on 94.5 ESPN is brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone! There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball. The Brew Crew is back, and we're here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, This is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960 we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually. But who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for game day. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, only 10 minutes from AmFam Field, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
April 10th through the 23rd.
Well, I'm going to buy one every day.
Yeah, you and I, Homer, we've got 13 days to try 13
Right.
different blizzards. I'm actually really excited
No,
for this.
I'm not going to. I'm going to get the same one every day.
What do you get? What's
I
your
get the
go-to?
Heath Blizzard.
Oh, Homer, my man.
Hey, Georgie, I saw you on TV yesterday. Really? At the tennis match? Yeah, you were at the snack bar eating a hot fudge sundae. Get out of here. I didn't see any cameras there. Oh, the camera was there. And the announcers, they made a couple of cracks about you.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I would be willing, given the price, to do 13 different ones. It's not like the other ones are bad, so that'd probably be good for me to expand my horizon.
Your horizon for blizzards?
Well, at 85 cents, I'll try anything. Even if it's bad, I just throw it in the trash.
What were they saying? That you had ice cream all over your face. They were talking about how funny you look. Maybe Gwen saw it. Maybe that's what did it. Well, I tell you, it wasn't a pretty sight.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
She wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it. We all
Happy opening day, everybody. We are celebrating the start of the baseball season for the first time since 1968. Every single baseball team is starting their season on the same day, and that, of course, includes your Milwaukee Brewers, taking on the Cubs today at Wrigley Field. Got a bunch of friends who are headed down there, and then, of course, the home opener next week when we, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, will be at
Magoo's on the mound. 59th and Blue Mound in Milwaukee. They're opening up for us at 7 a.m. and they're going to be open. So I think.
Well, I think they open at 8.
People should come out and hang out with us.
Open at 7.
Oh, okay.
I've been told because I double checked, Gabe, because I wanted to talk
All right, because
about
initially
this.
I was told that they were opening at 8.
Well, show up at 7. If they're not open yet, just wait outside. We'll let you in.
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to let you in. We're rule followers here
By
on
about
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
7:03, we will take pity on you and convince someone to unlock the doors.
Which of these is the best baseball song? The Greatest by Kenny Rogers, Glory Days by Bruce Springsteen, which Gabe is protesting, Center Field by John Fogerty, or Right Field by Peter, Paul, and Mary. We have had a lot of people saying it should be some song by Alabama. What is the song by Alabama that everybody's saying?
Cheap Seats.
Cheap Seats.
That is a really good song.
Not to be
That's
confused
number
with
2.
Cheap Trick. The
I Want You to Want
band.
Me.
Right. People really want us to want Alabama's Cheap Seats.
That's number 2.
Is
That's
it?
number 2
I've
behind
never
Center
heard-
Field.
I've never heard that song before. Can somebody? You got?
Stay tuned later in the show.
Okay,
I bet I have it tuned up to hear later at
Okay,
some
sounds
point.
good. We'll ask Ashton to play that later in the show. We also are asking you this morning if you have written off baseball, which it seems a lot of people have. And look, it's not just my mentions that indicate that. We know that baseball's numbers have dwindled over recent years. So baseball went through a bunch of rule changes. They started them in the minors. We're trying them out, testing them out, got the results they wanted. Now they've implemented them into the big league. Gabe, rattle off I believe there are 3 or 4, depending on how you want to look at it, major rule changes you will see in Major League Baseball this year.
So the first big one you're going to notice is the pitch clock. Pitchers have to get rid of the ball. Nobody on base. It's 15 seconds, somebody on base. The knee's got to come up to start delivering the pitch within 20 seconds. And within that, you can only pick off twice. If you do throw over a third time, if you do not pick off the runner and catch them and get an out, it becomes a balk, and the runner gets to advance
So
the
the
base.
pickoff rule is different than the pitch clock rule, but they are kind of connected.
They're
because
connected.
They're all pitcher related.
Correct.
Okay, so that's what I would consider 1 and 2.
No more shifting, so you have to have 4 infielders at all times, and you have to have 2 on either side of second base.
And then the other one is the bases.
Bases are, and I didn't think this was going to be that big of a change until I actually saw what the bases looked like. And, I think every beat writer out there, if you want to look, took a picture on the opening of spring training of what the new bases looked like. They go from 15 inches to 18 inches, trying to make the base paths a little bit closer so they can encourage more steal attempts and try to get those numbers back to where they were in the 80s, early 90s.
I wonder what the numbers were. I would love to see that. Maybe I'll have to search that during one of our breaks, if what the numbers were for, and again, it's supposed to reduce injuries as well. That was the other thing, right? Because you got bigger bases, so now maybe not as many collisions at well, anyway, it's supposed to increase stolen base attempts. I know. It's like he didn't get the memo or something. It is optimism only on opening day.
I'm the one who's being negative today?
I'm
the one wearing full
damnedest.
Expos gear today.
I have my Hank Aaron sweatshirt on. Look at Can you see it in the stream?
All right, be careful.
Yeah, if you stand up, I'm sure.
If you stand up.
Yeah.
Hammer and Hank. Got a Hammer and Hank sweatshirt on over here for opening day. What are the steals numbers? Did we have any idea what they were in spring training compared to previous spring trainings?
And that's just tough. That's a tough thing to measure in spring training just because you're circling through so many players.
I also think it's a tough thing to measure across the board because some teams are just built better, or you have one or two guys who are just really good at stealing bases. I don't think that every team has those speedsters out there who you just know when they get out there that's part of their game.
Yeah, but base stealing has gone down. Just because, again, just like with any other analytic, you're not going to. Ashton brought up bunting earlier. A lot of teams don't bunt because they don't want to give up the out. And stealing, unless you're doing it at a certain percent, teams aren't going to take that risk anymore because they don't want to be giving up those outs on the base paths. And that, again, those numbers could climb higher with the bases being closer, therefore encouraging guys like Garrett Mitchell for the Milwaukee Brewers to potentially try to swipe more bags.
Tim on the east side weighing in on our ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. That number, of course, 800-990-3776. He says, can we stop talking about baseball now and get back to some fun sports talk? But there it is. There's that attitude of why are we talking baseball? It's opening freaking day. I'm excited about the upcoming baseball season. I can't wait to get out to AmFam Field when it's a little bit warmer outside and I can actually enjoy some tailgating and then enjoy the baseball action. And as a busy mom and somebody who believes in efficiency, guess what? A 2-hour and 37-minute baseball game doesn't sound that bad. That sounds great. I can actually keep my kids entertained for 2 hours and 37 minutes. Start getting into that 3-hour, 4-hour, goodness gracious window, I got no shot. I got no chance. So before, again, and we talked about this when we had Rick Schlesinger on last week, one, it was the expense of trying to bring a family out to the ballpark that you were having to really second guess and question your choices. And then it was also, how am I going to keep them entertained for the length of the game? And when are we going to have to bow out gracefully, quote unquote, because that doesn't happen when you're lugging a bunch of kids around with you.
I was about to say, is that possible?
No. It's like, sorry, excuse me, sorry, was that your foot? My bad. Okay, sorry. Keep moving, come on. You know what I mean? So when do we bow out gracefully so that we can anticipate the meltdown, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Packers cutting players. You want to do it before as opposed to after.
Yeah, you do it after the meltdown.
Instead of too late.
Yeah, good luck. I was about to say, that's always the key when you have the kids at the ball game. But I'm optimistic with the 2 hours and 37-minute time that they had in spring training. My guess is it ends up being a little bit longer in the regular season because they probably won't be to the T and really just enforce it the way they did during spring training. Or maybe they will because players have gotten used to it. And there were a great piece over at ESPN.com written by Jeff Passan. It's long, so you really got to dig in, but it's a good primer on all these rule changes. That players were skeptical to start spring training, and they really bought in by the end of spring training. They loved the way that the game just flowed better with the pitch clock. And I think that hopefully really engages fans. I'm really curious to see how it happens and how it all works throughout all of baseball today.
Lee and Racine weighing in on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line saying, I'm confused. How is it people don't mind sitting watching 3+ hour long football games, but a 3-hour baseball game is too long and too boring? This to me goes back to the time in between the action for baseball and the time in between the action in football.
Honestly, I think it's A, people just enjoy the sport of football more in our country, and B, once a week versus every day. I think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, that's a fair and legit criticism, to be perfectly honest with you.
So when every football game means as much as it does, you're invested more. I mean, week 2 of the NFL season, if the Packers are playing the Bears, man, you are all the way in. The Brewers play the Cubs on Saturday. How invested are people going to be? Because it's one of 162.
I wonder if there is a way, and again, this is going to be thinking way outside the box, so just entertain me for 1 second while I play something like this. But I'm workshopping an idea where you could try to make, I don't know if it's a series thing, where if you win a series, you get a point or something, or you win a month. And you get, like, there's got to be something where you could break the season down into more bite-sized portions, and then you could win those things, those weeks, series, months. And then in your division, the team that wins the month gets 5 points, and the team that finishes second in the division gets 4 points. And there's some way of, like, aggregating. I don't know. I'm just throwing spaghetti right now. But is there any way of making it so the smaller segments matter more than the whole thing? Because look, everybody agrees baseball's real exciting if you're in a pennant race. Mm-hmm. Everybody agrees. Everybody loves watching baseball in September.
Look at the World Baseball Classic.
Look at the World Baseball
Classic.
Classic.
That's basically a month-long pennant race.
Exactly. Is there a way of taking the long baseball season and breaking it into quarters or something?
No.
The only,
I mean, they do it in minor league baseball where
Yeah.
they split the season in half, where you have a first half winner, second half winner, because you're changing players so much in minor league baseball where guys are coming up and down, and because it's all obviously all developmental. But think about, especially with this schedule where everybody plays everybody for the first time in baseball history. Right? Every team is going to play everybody. You don't always necessarily get them at home, but you're going to be playing every team at least once throughout the course of the season. So what if you're a team in the NL Central that has a stretch where you're playing the Yankees, and then you play the Astros, and then you play the Dodgers in that month, like, and the other, and the Reds get the Royals and the Diamondbacks and the Pirates, and it's just too tough to kind of like
parody,
make it all work in a smaller time frame with what baseball's trying to do.
Because again, even look at the NBA, right? They recognize that maybe there was a lessening of intensity when it came to winning the regular season. So they threw a trophy on it. Like, maybe there's something there of, like, throw a trophy on something. Again, I don't know.
You think those players in the NBA give a rip about that trophy?
It sounds like you don't think they do, so I'm going to ride with whatever you're putting out there and say no. This was an optimism-only morning here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and we have been failing miserably. Who's keeping score on the optimism-only scoreboard?
I've got the score for you.
And what is
it is what it is. And
that's it. It's all the scores.
Are we 0 for 5?
it is what it
we
is.
know we were 0 for 2.
We were definitely 0 for 3.
We almost got that third
We almost
one,
got
but you
the third
mentioned
one.
your skepticism.
I did.
We definitely weren't positive in the final segment of the
No,
hour.
because we read
kept railing
texts.
on my songs.
Well, I mean, pick better songs. Not you. I'm not saying
Just
you. I'm
baseball
just
people,
saying.
baseball people, could you have better songs? We did get some suggestions about better songs. We'll have to get to that.
We got top 8 at 8 coming up next. We know Jen stinks at that game, so good luck being
But
optimistic
I'm
during that.
optimistic
I wouldn't
about
be.
not stinking,
I know
so
it was. I
there's
wouldn't be.
that. Maybe I should hold that optimism for another 3
I'd
minutes.
start
so that at
Googling
least
now.
extends
I mean, allegedly.
into-
I'd start allegedly Googling right now.
Dan from Salem weighing in saying, baseball is just like the Bucks. I keep an eye on the stats and scores, but I don't really watch religiously until after the All-Star game. That from Dan in Salem. Unnamed in the 414 saying, I think these rule changes are good as it does speed up the game, but the base stealing with the help of the offense, I think he means and the base stealing. Let's go Crew. Should have a chance to win the division with this pitching and some new bats and faces. There's the optimism that we've been looking for. Unnamed in the 414 basically saving our segment, ending it with some optimism. For that reason, I will not continue reading texts on the ESPN Wisconsin Pocket text line.
It only took 73 minutes. Way to go.
One thing that I think is possibly more important in terms of baseball drawing fans in, and they've got a chance to do something here, and we'll see if they do it right or wrong. But more important than these rule changes is making the game accessible to people. With Bally and everything they did with trying to, they're not on, with all these people cutting cords and not being on cable as much, charging what they charged to try to make up for the bad investment they more or less had in a lot of these team rights, and charging $20 a month for the Bally Plus Sports app. So if you have YouTube TV, if you have Hulu, you are unable to watch Brewers games or Bucks games if you happen to be a Bucks fan here in the state of Wisconsin. And with that all lining up and going to bankruptcy and baseball potentially taking over some of these local rights, making the game more accessible, because that's the one thing with the NFL. You can watch every one of your team's games, and it's easy outside of now the Amazon. But even that, like if the Packers play on Amazon, one of the local stations will have it. So you're still able to watch it. It's very easily accessible, and it's easy to get to. Baseball, they've made it tough on themselves over the last 5-6 years trying to get their product out to their fans who are watching at home. Hopefully they find a better way to do that with everything going on with the Bally Sports bankruptcy.
You hear what he said? He said, hopefully. That hopefully right there counts as what, guys?
Optimism.
Optimism. We are having an optimism-only day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, and per usual, we are failing miserably, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop trying. Gabe?
You want optimism? All you have to do is put a Palermo's pizza in front of me. That'll make me feel optimistic quickly, especially if it's a Screamin' Sicilian. I'm stuffed, one of the stuffed crust pizzas. Look, baseball's starting today. Baseball's going to be on. You're going to want to kick your feet up, watch some baseball. Pizza and baseball, they go together, especially the Screamin' Sicilian. I'm stuffed crust pizza. So you get that artisan crust that you're used to with Screamin' Sicilian, plus 2.5 feet of cheese stuffed in the crust. All those classic flavors that you're used to with Screamin' Sicilian, Supreme, pepperoni, sausage pepperoni, or maybe you just want to Kevin McAllister the thing and go with just the plain cheese pizza. You can get them all with Screamin' Sicilian. I'm stuffed. So get stuffed while you're watching baseball. Get yourself a Screamin' Sicilian. I'm stuffed. Find it at your local grocer's freezer section. Palermo's. It's Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
So those backups on 94 East from the Zoo interchange to downtown. About a 5-minute delay there now, making that trip 11 minutes. Heading the other direction, 94 westbound is at a 3-minute delay from downtown to the Zoo. And still those delays on 43 southbound should take you about 14 minutes from Brown Deer down to downtown, about a 3-minute delay there. And time for a look at your Storm Team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, snow and rain late and breezy with a high of 45. Tonight, rain showers, isolated thunderstorms, and windy with a low of 48. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee, packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Finn Askin on 94.5 ESPN.
Just because the buzzer hits doesn't mean the game ends. Highlights.
Holiday back to Giannis, and Giannis will staple it through with a two-hand jam.
Reaction.
Bucks have been very good. So we're talking about 3 months now that the Bucks have been the best team in the league, and the Bucks and the Sixers have been the two best teams by a wide margin.
Your thoughts.
Take care of the glass. We need to do that, and we did it in the fourth quarter.
Nobody knows the Bucks like Justin Garcia. Catch Bucks Talk after every game right here on 94.5 ESPN.
Got chronic joint pain but want to avoid steroids and surgery? Take some advice from pro football legend Emmitt Smith. Call QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life with biologic therapies that get your body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
These exciting new regenerative treatments from local medical professionals can help your body heal itself with lasting pain relief.
Trust me, you want to avoid surgery if you can. Check out these biologic treatments to see what your options are.
QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime, no surgery, no drugs.
I'm talking about joint pain we all can relate to in your knees, your shoulders, your hips, and your lower back. They'll get you feeling good again.
Get relief now.
What are you waiting on? Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
At least twice as big
as the one you gave her
when you got engaged.
That's the definition of a big anniversary diamond.
Kessler's has lots of ways
for you to go twice as big.
We have twice as big diamonds from diamond mines.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart of Mother Earth.
And the ones that exist in the world today are all there will ever be.
Kessler's also has twice as big created diamonds.
These diamonds come from the fiery heart
of a ball of lightning, a miniature star, inside a plasma chamber.
It's a wonder to behold.
Kessler's also has twice as big flickering firelight diamonds.
These natural diamonds flicker with all the warm colors of firelight
instead of the cold colors of ice.
Flickering firelight diamonds are another wonder to behold.
And all of these twice as big diamonds are for her.
The best wonder to behold of all.
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, go to Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
The top 8 at 8.
Name something that follows the word pork.
You pie.
Huh?
One category.
Name something people take with them to the beach. Turkey.
The top 8 answers.
The first thing you buy in a supermarket. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8.
A food often stuffed. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8 on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken! Oh my God!
Show me chicken!
Sponsored by Milwaukee Pretzel Company. Win a Bavarian soft pretzel lovers gift pack from the Milwaukee Pretzel Company. Shop now at milwaukeepretzel.com.
All right, Gabe, is our top 8 at 8 baseball related today?
It most certainly is. Now, I initially thought about throwing the curveball, baseball reference, after
telling us that it was a baseball reference.
After Drew Holiday scored 51 last night. But there are only $6 who have ever scored 50-plus points in a game,
Ooh.
so that wouldn't have worked for the top 8, since he was the 6th buck to ever score 50-plus points in a game. So what I am looking for, it's easy. Simple list today. I am looking for the last 8 players who have been the starting pitcher for the Brewers on opening day.
I feel like we did this recently. Why do I feel like we did something like this recently?
Last year, I think we did like first baseman, which was hard.
Okay, so we got to go with Corbin Burns.
Corbin Burns started opening day last year for the Brewers. It is his only opening day start.
How far back does this list go? You're not going to tell me that, are you?
Nope. I mean, if you guess number 8, I'll tell you the years, and then you know.
I guess number 8. What are the odds of me guessing number 8? Is Ashton allowed to play, or is it just me?
I played this game already this morning.
Yeah.
What do you mean you played this game already?
Well,
this morning?
because Gabe and I tried to figure out, he had a couple of different ideas, so we were going through lists to see how hard one would be, and I did this one already.
Did you do well?
I got 7 of 8. Sorry, 6 of 8.
Are you sure he can't play?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pretty sure.
Really helpful if he could play.
I understand.
Okay, so Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff started prior to Corbin Burns.
That is correct. Brandon Woodruff started opening day on 2021 and 2020.
Now this is going to get real dicey real quick for me. Again, I wonder how. I just need to know how far back it goes. There's 8.
8.
I just know that Giovanni Gallardo made like 7 or 6.
Giovanni Gallardo, 5 times
Thank
he started
you.
opening day. He is number 8 on the list.
Okay, so that's the bottom of the list.
His last was 2014. His first was 2010.
Now, if people want to text in suggestions, I would not look at the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text
But
line
they don't get credit
for suggestions.
For it. Why would they want to help you?
I would get credit for it.
But why would they want to help you when
Why
they could just
wouldn't
hold
they
on
want
to
to help
that?
me?
Call us at 800-990-3776 and potentially win that Milwaukee Pretzel Company prize pack.
It's optimism only on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy today.
Yeah, and
in
I'd be
honor of-
optimistic about winning that pretzel.
I'm optimistic that people would like to help Jen on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text
I got to
line.
be honest, Gabe. I'm optimistic that Jen, if she just maybe thinks about, I don't know, just any of the better starters over the past several years, maybe, I'm optimistic she could guess some more.
You got one of the hard ones right away, and I was flummoxed.
Thank you.
Flummoxed?
It's a great word.
Okay, hold on. Let's just actually think about this for a second. So I know that Burns was, yes, and we know Woodruff had 1 or 2.
Woodruff had 2. So Burns started last year. 2021 and 2020 were Brandon Woodruff. So then you have number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all falling between 2019 and 2015.
I do like that there are people on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line who are trying to throw me off the scent.
They're not.
Jerks.
What did you
How about
expect?
Austin in Whitefish Bay.
That's the only one.
What did he say?
He said Eric Gagne.
Legendary Brewer for that one part of that season.
I'm gonna.
He blew a save and got a win on opening
I'm
day.
going to take a suggestion from Nick in Waukesha and say Chase Anderson.
Chase Anderson started opening day in 2018 for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay, Josh and Heartland also gave me that suggestion, so I appreciate that, guys. Okay, how about Josh from Heartland, who wants to win the prize pack, can't win the prize pack, but
Cannot.
wants me to guess Chassin.
Ulysse Chassin started opening day in 2019.
How many is that so far?
That is 5. So we just have 5, 6, and 7 left on the list.
Okay, the only one that I was holding on to was Peralta.
Slick Willie.
I told you, that's the one where you think of the bad-ish pitcher, but also good-ish at the time. And oh, I remember he was around for a while, it felt like.
Yeah.
He started opening day in 2016.
And I have nothing left, so...
All right, let's go ahead and open up. We just have 2 left on the list. 800-990-3776. Get the last one on the list. Win that prize pack courtesy of Milwaukee Pretzel Company. The last 8 players to start opening day for the Brewers. Corbin Burns, number 1 on the list. Brandon Woodruff had back-to-back opening day starts. He's number 2. Ulysse Chassin is 3. Chase Anderson, 4. Do not have 5. Willie Peralta, 6. Do not have 7. And Yovani Gallardo, who his 5 opening day starts stretch back to 2014.
800-990-3776. Let's get out to the call line. Sam and Kenosha, you're up first on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you complete our top 8 at 8 list?
I'm going to guess Jimmy Nelson.
So Jimmy Nelson, fantastic guess. Never started opening day for the Brewers. These were, by the way, the 6 that you have were the 6 that Ashton also had this
Jimmy
morning.
Nelson was where I ended the list.
800-990-3776. Looking for a few more of the most recent, the most recent 8 top 8, nope. The
last
most
8.
Thank you, last 8 would
Gabe,
work.
how did you phrase it?
The last 8 opening day starting pitchers for the Brewers.
Right. There you go. Thank you.
I could have just kept we're being optimistic here, so I feel like I had to come in and save you.
That's okay. It was not
Instead
my
of
finest
letting
hour.
you just...
800-990-3776. I do appreciate Ryan in Mugwanago, who has at times tried to get me to say bad things on the radio. I need any help there, Ryan. Warren Spahn, Don Sutton, and Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle is such a great
You
character.
didn't have to censor that one. You could have said it.
I didn't want to. Let's get out to Bill in Lake Geneva. Bill, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you complete our top 8 at 8 list?
Does anyone said Junior Guerra?
Junior Guerra started opening day for the Milwaukee Brewers in 2017, meaning we just have 1 left on the list. I'll reset it for you real quick. The last 8 players to start opening day as a pitcher for the Brewers. Corbin Burns is 1. Brandon Woodruff, 2. Ulysse Chassin, 3. Chase Anderson, 4. Junior Guerra is 5. Willie Peralta started opening day in 2016. We do not have 7, and we know in 2014, Yovani Gallardo had his last of 5 consecutive opening day starts. So pretty much we're just looking for the opening day starter in 2015.
I think it was Kyle Loesch.
It was Kyle Loesch who started opening day for the Milwaukee Brewers in 2015. You are the big winner today of the top 8 at 8 in that prize pack, courtesy of Milwaukee Pretzel Company.
Lots of reaction rolling in on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line, but I think I like Sheila's the best where she says LOL. I'm sure there were other things there, but I think she was just laughing at my ineptitude. At 1, completing the top 8 at 8 list. Have I ever completed a top 8 at 8 list?
No.
In the history?
No, but it is hard to
show?
run it. It is hard to run. I think Chewy only did it once in the history of doing it with Craig.
And it was the tight ends who have played for the Green Bay Packers.
I'm not quite. I just remember it being a big deal when he did it. And then Chewy had to come up with the list to try to stump Craig, and Craig ran one of Chewy's lists within a month. Yeah.
Sheesh, good for them. I do hope that's my goal for the year. As we're being optimistic opening day, by the end of the year, I'd like to be able to run a list. Just get the whole thing. Just nail it.
Good luck. Because I thought about going a little different, because this one was pretty easy to look up if you wanted to. So I did a little bit more research, and the one I would have wanted to do was just damn near impossible.
What was it?
The last 8 opening day starting pitchers to win for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, how far back do you have to go for
1978.
that? Is number 8?
Is number 8.
Yeah, that seems difficult.
I know I got half of them, but I already forgot my guesses.
Yeah, so
No, you didn't.
Chassin, Gallardo, and Ben Sheets.
Yes.
Oh, you did that list too?
Yes.
You did the win list
Gabe
too?
and I, because we were trying to figure out which one was going to be tougher.
Ben Sheets is a good list, though.
Yeah, so I was kind of more or less trying to figure out a way to get Ben Sheets on the list, but then you have Mark Knudsen, Teddy Higuera, Pete Vukovich, Mike Caldwell, and then the doctor of pitching, Jerry Augustine.
Love it.
1978 would have been number 8 on
All
the
right,
list.
just for funsies, do you think you could name the last 8 starting pitchers for the Chicago Cubs?
No.
Who the Brewers play today?
No.
I bet you could if you thought about it, though.
Yeah, but I don't care to.
Because Kyle Hendricks, yes, because he started the last
Matt Garza.
3. Garza not on the list.
Carlos Zambrano.
Carlos Zambrano is on the list. Yeah. So that's 2010, 2009, 2008, 2007, 2006, 2005.
What's his name? Jake Arrieta.
Arrieta was only 1 year, though, in 2016.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of out of guesses.
Lester,
I
4 years. Smarja. Did we forget about Jeff Smarja?
Trying to. Trying real hard.
Everyone should have at this
White Sox
point.
legend.
And Dempster.
Ugh.
Oh,
Ryan
Ryan Dempster.
No wonder they only won one title. Unbelievable. Theo, joke.
I feel like you were coming after me with that one. But
You can say that with your White Sox cap on,
Listen,
I suppose.
This is going to be the nerdiest sentence I say all day, and I control the board so no one can force me to go to break. Joe Sheehan, who is a baseball analyst / nerd, and I love him to death, picked the White Sox to win the AL Central this year.
I saw
I'm
a
on
lot
sky high.
of people picking the White Sox to win the
You
AL
can ask
Central.
Gabe. 3 days ago, I thought they were going to win 60 games, and I am now sky
What
high.
are you thinking now? 86, 87?
97 at least.
97?
100.
Hey, speaking of
I was
optimism.
about to say, you wanted optimism. You can't shoot down his optimism. He's being optimistic.
I'm not shooting it down. I was just surprised that it went that high. Good grief.
Stop shooting it down.
I apologize.
You're supposed to believe in him. Show the optimism.
I
I don't-
believe in...
Well, I don't even believe it.
But I did say, so what was I looking at? USA Today, Sporting News, CBS Sports. I was aggregating all of those yesterday, and all of them have the Brewers finishing second or third in the NL Central.
That's good. Second. Just no or third. Just
The
second. They're
Athletic
finishing
had him, I
second.
believe, in second as well.
That means wild card. I hear playoffs. That's all I'm hearing. Optimism. Look at us.
Really great way.
Look at us. We
of-
did it. 8:30.
Exactly.
Optimism.
I don't know if the whole thing was optimistic because Gabe was real pessimistic about my ability to finish the top 8 at 8 list. So, do you think that?
Yeah,
one
but
count?
I was very positive when you got Willie Peralta.
Yeah, that's true. That was impressive, sort of. I don't know. Sometimes things are just jammed in the brain and you don't know why you have them in there. Anyway, have you guys tried Celsius Energy Drink yet? If you haven't, let me tell you all about it. It's the clean energy drink that you need, that I need to stay active and energized all day long. And trust me, I need and rely on my Celsius Energy Drink when I have to get up every morning and do the show with these knuckleheads right here on ESPN Milwaukee. 15 different flavors to choose from. You've heard me talk about my favorite flavor, guys, which is, of course...
Peach Vibe.
Thank you, Ashton. But there's also Arctic Vibe. There's also Fuji Apple Pear. Plenty of other flavors. I don't know about the strawberry that Chewy likes to tout the glory of. Oh, it's watermelon.
I have
That's
heard
right.
good things about the watermelon.
You
actually.
have. Fantastic. Maybe I'll have to try it the next time I'm walking down the aisles of Target. Celsius is the essential energy drink that I choose to help me stay on top of it all. And you can find Celsius at your local Pick and Save stores or online at Amazon. Celsius Energy Drink, guys. Celsius Energy Drink. Live fit.
Full show podcasts, interviews, and special content is available right now at WisconsinOnDemand.com. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on 94.5 ESPN.
43 southbound has cleared up now. You'll be smooth sailing as you head from Brown Deer to downtown. Those delays on 94 westbound have moved a little further west as well. You're looking at a 3-minute delay from the zoo over to Highway 16. And we're still seeing those delays heading downtown from 94 eastbound from the zoo. About a 3-minute delay there. Everything else is looking good on the roads. Traffic is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. And a look at your storm team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, snow and rain late with a high of 45, and that rain will continue into tonight. Isolated thunderstorms and windy with a low of 48. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Finn Askin on 94.5 ESPN.
The best quality roofs, siding, windows, and doors, expertly installed and at an affordable price. Hi, this is Bo from Ridgetop Exteriors. Integrity, excellence, quality, and community are what we value here at Ridgetop because we want to do a great job to help our friends and neighbors. We always want to exceed expectations because customer service is our #1 goal. We're trusted local experts you can count on for your home exterior projects. Thanks for choosing Ridgetop Exteriors for your home's next project. Go to ridgetopexteriors.com for a free estimate.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
The college basketball season is heating up, which means it's time for the Wendy's Wooden Watch. You see, in 2002, I was honored to have received the John R. Wooden Player of the Year Award, which is presented to the country's most outstanding men's and women's player, who is also making progress towards earning a degree. This year, players like Drew Timme, Armando Bacot, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark are vying for the trophy. So who will take it home? The 2023 John R. Wooden Men's and Women's Player of the Year is presented by Wendy's.
Wendy's 2 for $6 lets you mix and match some of our best items, like Dave Single with a 10-piece crispy nugs, medium strawberry lemonade with a spicy chicken sandwich, spicy chicken with a Dave Single with a strawberry lemonade, if you're into that. Chicken Sam, crispy nugs, strawberry lemonade, Dave's, nugs, Sam. Whew. Pick what you want at a price you want. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for $6.
For a limited time, price participation may vary at U.S. Wendy's. On the card only. Single item at regular price.
Basketball and Guinness, 2 reasons this is the best month of the year. Enjoy both together while watching your favorite team make a title run. Settle into the world of Guinness, over 260 years in the making. Enjoy a pint and the games at Kelly's Bleachers Big Ben, featuring softball, volleyball, and cornhole leagues, along with a tiki bar and live music this summer and fall. Also enjoy Guinness at Mason's, Club Paragon, New Berlin Ale House, and Champs Americana.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Any of those things, because it exceeds. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm burping up my apple right there. That's what that was. I wasn't pausing for effect. I literally was burping.
All right, can we just go to break?
No. On 94.5 ESPN.
This must be the Alabama song I've been hearing so much about. Is this Cheap Seats?
It is.
Yeah, I'm already ready to go now.
Yeah, it's more of a minor league baseball song.
The beginning's very good. It got a little bit slower now, but the beginning was very good.
It's very twangy. It's very Alabama. I like an Alabama.
I'm excited for the last song I'm going to play next.
The one thing about Alabama is they are always going to be true to who they are.
Yes.
They're never going to vary.
Twangy.
Yes. I mean, the name of the band is Alabama.
So people think that this song should have been on our poll of the best baseball songs.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about best baseball songs, we're not talking about the songs you want to hear at the ballpark. That's a whole nother category, right? Like when you think of baseball, I'm sure there are a lot of people who think of Hell's Bells. And when they think of Trevor Hoffman, or they think of Mariano Rivera and he's Enter Sandman. So like I'm sure that there are a bunch of songs that people connect with baseball because guys have used them as walkout songs, or you hear them at the ballpark. Sure, here in Milwaukee, I Roll Out the Barrel, right? That's not a baseball song, but it has been adopted by a baseball crowd, so now people identify it with baseball.
Sweet Caroline in Boston.
Sure.
You know, just different songs that have been ingrained into you that always get played at whatever stadium you happen to be at.
So do we think that we should have added that Alabama song to the list?
Yeah, better than whatever that Peter, Paul, and Mary song that you put on there.
Have you not heard the Peter, Paul, and Mary song,
I'll
Right
pull that
Field?
one up because I've never heard that one, and I want to save my last song for the next break.
It's a Peter, Paul, and Mary song.
So, people like Puff the Magic Dragon, and that's a Peter, Paul, and Mary song.
It's not going to get me jacked up to watch baseball.
Okay, so I think that's where we need to establish a baseline. Is it just to get you excited for baseball? Because
what other reason is there?
It's just a baseball song. That's why The Greatest by Kenny Rogers is a great baseball song. It's adorable.
Yeah, sure.
Then I do agree. You are correct. Then by that definition, Kenny Rogers, the best baseball song you could ever have.
It's literally called The Greatest.
The greatest baseball song we could ever. There's my optimism. Now I will drown that out by saying that song sucks and doesn't get me going at all.
You're not going to like Right Field either, then.
God.
Well, first of all, it's Peter, Paul, and Mary, so what were you expecting?
Exactly. I had not heard this song, and I knew exactly what it sounded like.
But wait a minute, you've never heard Right Field by Peter, Paul, and Mary?
No.
I mean, I'm sure I've heard
Hold on,
this.
can we at least get to the chorus?
How long is the chorus?
I mean, I don't know where you started it at when you played it.
From 0. We can't just listen. That's
Look,
illegal.
at
least
he's mentioned a bunch of positions. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. He's adorable, right? He's a bad baseball player. He knew exactly where he was going. Here we go. Here's the chorus.
Gabe?
So I've heard this chorus part.
Thank you.
However, so for whatever reason, well, I know when I was a kid, one of my favorite movies was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Okay.
And the videotape that we had a Pizza Hut commercial because Pizza Hut was featured in the movie because the Turtles, they
Love
eat
pizza, of course.
And there was like a Little League Pizza Hut commercial that had that
Perfect,
song.
yes.
That's the only time I've ever
telling
heard
you.
that
so
song.
It's a story, much like the song we were talking about with Kenny Rogers, where he's the greatest, right? Because he keeps striking out, and then he's like, "Oh man, I didn't even know I could pitch like that." This one is a story, right? Because he plays right field because he's awful and he's slow and he accepts all those things about himself. And then at the end of the song, in the final verse, crack of the bat and the ball comes soaring and he puts his hand in the air and he opens his glove and the ball falls right there.
What is he, Smalls?
I'm pretty sure Peter Paul and Mary's song came out before The Sandlot,
Just
BTW.
saying.
But either way, and so then at the end he's like, I play right field and it's important because you got to know how to catch and you got to know how to throw. And it's this whole like evolution of
The kids that play right field.
He made
Just
the
saying.
big play.
More often than not. Less work.
Are awful. We were trying to at least have one optimistic segment
I
here.
started off
We got one
optimistic.
chance. We got one chance left.
And I may be begging out early, so good luck.
Gabe and I certainly won't, say bad things. We never do.
You guys can make it happen, right? I don't know. I like the Peter, Paul, and Mary song, and I like the Kenny Rogers song. I think they're sweet. And there is something about that is very baseball, Gabe. Like as they make all of these changes and they try to speed up the game and get more people out to the ballpark, there is something about baseball that still feels very yesteryear.
Wholesome.
And we like that about baseball,
Yeah,
don't we?
it's very nostalgic. You gain very nostalgic. And maybe that's why I love baseball so much, because of so many of my very fond childhood memories revolve around baseball, whether it was playing, going to games with my family. And I understand going to sporting events, especially nowadays, is very expensive. But the Brewers have done. We talked with Rick Schlesinger earlier this week about it, especially if you want to go on a Sunday. They're making an effort to make it easier for your family to get to the ballpark because they know how important it is, I think, that you get the youth involved. You get kids involved that want to play baseball, watch baseball, and grow up loving it.
I have very fond memories of watching baseball as a kid. There is something about you will never be able to take away the sentimentality attached to even hearing Bob Uecker's voice on the radio. Like there's something about like the chills that gives you. I do think that there's a communal element to it for whatever reason. Maybe it's a summertime thing because in the summer you're out of school, and I have so many memories of going to my brother's baseball games and walking over to the concession stand and picking out my big league chew and like all of these little things. And there is, I don't know, there's a part of that just you try to recreate as an adult when you go out to the ballpark.
Yeah.
Although it's tough when you're the one footing the bill now as opposed to mom and dad handing you a couple of crinkled
I'll
up
take that
dollar
extra
bills.
cheese cup. Why not?
What flavor of Big League Chew?
I just did the pink. Were there other flavors? I didn't
Grape.
even know.
Oh, grape.
Grape is gross.
You ever had a sour apple?
The sour apple was fine, but the grape is like classic Big League Chew, is the one that was most readily available.
Yeah, it's green apple. You're wrong.
Lots of folks
They
weighing
don't make
in.
They can't make Big League Chew anymore, can
They
they?
absolutely still make it. Yeah, we
Did
go
they
buy
change
some
the
right
name?
now.
It's still Big League
There's
Chew?
not a chance.
But it's
can't-
bubble gum, so like everyone knows it's gum though.
Yeah, but I understand. But they also stopped selling candy cigarettes.
But they never called it like Big League Tobacco. Like cigarettes are cigarettes,
You can
right?
get it right
but
now.
chew is bubble gum.
Then they've even
I'm telling
gotten-
you, I listen,
Yeah.
if I were marketing this, that's the hair that I would split.
Yeah, Gabe, you can get it right now on Amazon, a like 16 pack for $19.
That seems wild.
They have cotton candy.
Because guess what? Chew
Blue
is
raspberry.
not gum. Nobody calls, hey, can I have a stick of your chew when you've got Orbit
Okay,
in
but
your
again,
pocket?
to go back to our Sandlot, since we reference it all
Lime
the
and
time when we're
strawberry?
talking about baseball, it's not called chaw either, right? Like the kids in the Sandlot call the tobacco chaw.
Yeah, I mean, it
If it
was
were-
back in the day.
If it were Big League chaw,
Sure.
yeah, I think you're having a tough time pushing that through.
Yeah, the chew still. I mean, it's
Are you trying
very,
to tell me? Are you trying to tell me that if you had a son or you
Yep.
had a daughter
Mhm.
and you were indoctrinating them into the baseball world, one of the first things, the very first things you're doing, you're not running down to the 7-Eleven, you're not running down to the CVS and buying them a little bag of Big League.
I gotta
Chew.
be honest. I agree with Jen.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I agree with Jen. She's so right.
Absolutely not.
No, you're
Gabe, when I was
lying.
Tobacco is bad for you, Jennifer.
It's not tobacco, it's gum.
It's just not.
It's the connotation, especially the bag it comes in. It's a really old
It's
school
so
tobacco
cool.
bag.
You get to be such a cool person.
But they don't even sell tobacco that way anymore.
Yeah,
now
they
it comes
do.
in the little tin.
Well, you
mostly.
can get it. You
Red
can get
Man?
it in the pouch, but yeah, you can still get Red Man. Which again,
we
can address that. I guess don't need to address Red Man.
I'm just saying.
That's
Listen,
bad.
Tobacco is bad. All tobacco is bad. However, Big League Chew, good. That's all I'm saying. Pretty easy distinction there.
I'm just surprised that they in
God,
today's
you're gonna be such a
in
nerd about
today's
this,
social
too. God,
climate.
he's
I'm
so
just
lame
saying
this week.
Like, look,
First
I'm
the
not
officials
saying
on Monday.
Look, I am wearing Big League Chew shoes. All right, I have the Big League Chew shoes on right now.
And
Move a little
wait
bit
a
to your
minute,
right.
time out. Does that shoe actually have a gum stain on
Yes,
the
it does,
bottom?
on the bottom
That
of it.
is great marketing.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
I've got
by the
Big
way.
League Chew shoes
I need
on.
you to
I'm
move a
just
little bit to
saying.
the
He needs you
right.
to get it in the camera. He wants you to get it on.
Go back towards me.
Keep going. Keep
Put
going.
your foot up.
No, keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going. Put your foot up.
Keep going.
Yeah, perfect. All right, great.
There
Nailed
we go.
it.
There it
Yeah,
is.
there it is. Got it.
You
I got
can
it.
see the gum.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm
It's
just
so
saying.
weird.
All I was saying is I was surprised that in today's social climate that they were still allowed to sell Big League Chew.
So if I buy some for me and Jen tomorrow, you don't want any.
Well, no, I'm not saying I don't want it.
Jen,
I'm
this
just
is
saying I'm
interesting.
surprised it's available. That's all I'm saying.
What flavor do you want?
Grape, of course.
Ugh, disgusting. We asked you guys today, earlier this morning, if you're out on baseball, what would bring you back in? 800-990-3776. Baseball doing a lot of work. You cannot argue that they're not trying to expand the audience. They certainly
Yes.
are. All of these rule changes. And I'm telling people, if you've been out on baseball, give it a couple of weeks, right? Maybe you get through the Final Four, you get through the national championship game, and you're wondering what you want to watch. Certainly, please continue watching the Bucks. They are fantastic. They are a playoff team, no questions asked. But in some of your disposable time, check out a couple of Brewers games and see if you like the way the new rules are changing the pace of the game and see if it sucks you in, if it draws you in. Because I think it's going to. And I think we're going to see more people by the All-Star break. And again, it will depend wholly on how the team is performing and if they are, in fact, in it. But I think there'll be more people still engaged with the Brewers season come the All-Star break than have been in years past. I do love this text from Carrie in Mayville saying, love your show, love the Kenny Rogers song. Not a baseball fan myself, but when I hear Bob Uecker's voice, I become that little girl growing up, hearing it on my dad's radio while we were playing outside all summer long. Keep that optimism. Gabe?
Ridgetop Exteriors provides the best quality roof siding, windows, doors, expertly installed, and at an affordable price. It's trusted, they have trusted, recommended experts, and they consider customer service their number one goal. Think about that. Ridgetop Exteriors. They provide the best quality roof siding, windows, doors, expertly installed at an affordable price. Plus, they consider customer service their number one goal. They strive to exceed the expectations of the homeowners they serve. When you're making the investment back into your home to have that exterior project, you want somebody who has all those things, plus has the customer service to back up the great products that Ridgetop Exteriors has. And because apparently they just want to do more things to help you out at Ridgetop Exteriors, they have no interest and low interest financing available. It's easy. Get a free estimate for your next project. All you have to do is log on to Ridgetop Exteriors website at ridgetopexteriors.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Aaron Rodgers has decided to play another season, but where will it be?
At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
The watch never stops.
Always going to have love for that organization. But the facts are right now, they want to move on.
Oh my God, it's right there. You see it?
And now so do I.
Here on 94.5 ESPN.
Looking for the best way to welcome new teammates or business partners to your team? Look no further. 3 Tree Marketing is a full-service branded merchandise agency using creative merchandising to share your company's story. Be the envy of others with specialized gifting and onboarding kits from 3 Tree, an amazing opportunity to best showcase what a brand is all about. Work with a team that thinks outside the box and becomes an extension of your team. See what else 3 Tree Marketing can do for your team and set an appointment today. 3treemarketing.com.
Lowe's MVP's bonus days are back for pros. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Max Power Stack Battery 2-pack at $199 and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free. Plus, earn 3 times the bonus points on all Metabo HPT tools and products. Shop even more savings and bonus points offers during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/20 through 3/31. Subject to change. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. Visit Lowe's.com/MVPs bonus points for details.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Q Club of Wisconsin is a hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, you wouldn't believe it. We've got dartboards, foosball tables, shuffleboard tables, and 10 pool tables. Q Club of Wisconsin has a pocket for everyone. But don't let the games be the only reason to swing by. Q Club's Fish Fry on Wednesdays and Fridays are sure to keep you coming back, as well as live music on Saturday nights.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Gordy in Menominee Falls. Come on, Gordy. One time, you Gordy.
John Henson.
John Henson.
Let's go, Gordy!
Gordy, I love you, buddy.
I swear to God, I thought he was going to talk. I thought he was going to confuse it with the Henson guy from the Muppets.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I wanna say. You know I like my girls a little bit older.
I don't normally call things like this out, but Great Midwest Bank is nearly 90 years old, and that is old. But in this case, guys, it is a good thing because it means experience. And you know that everybody over at GMB's Bayside branch has 40 years of experience in the banking field. A customer of theirs shared, I've had accounts at Great Midwest Bank for more than 30 years. My parents had their first mortgage with them back in 1945. Great Midwest Bank has managed to blend today's technology with excellent customer service established years ago. And you know that is so true. Great Midwest Bank really does offer the best of both worlds. Old school customer service with all the modern options that customers need today. You can experience a state of tranquility at Great Midwest Bank. They are your and my simply local equal housing lender. Now listen. On Optimism opening day, Optimism only on opening day here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
We are 0 for 7.
So do you want me to keep the streak going, or do you want me to try to change the tide?
I mean, I'd like to change the tide.
I just want to listen to this song.
And not
keep
just
it going. Just keep it going because it's a great song.
Do you know whose walk-up song this is? Anybody?
Wait.
No one's going to get it. Only Gabe, because I just told him, Jen, you should get it. If I tell you, you might get upset.
Like a Kyle Schwarber or?
Right city, wrong team.
Who is it?
Gordon Beckham.
Oh, sure.
No one knows who that is but me. God,
I know Gordon Beckham, though.
No one listening.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like a random White
You want to know
Sox
what's
player.
crazy is I'm pretty sure that it was his walk-up song when I was covering the White Sox
That's what I mean.
2 seasons.
Like, I feel like vividly remembering that from
Good song.
CSN Chicago.
But what I was going to say is, great song, no questions asked. You will not hear me disparage the outfield by any means, the band. But this is not a baseball song.
No,
you're right. It's not.
It's correct.
I mean, we had people weighing in on the ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line who were trying to convince us that Meatloaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Light is a baseball song because it talks about first base, second base, and third base. But guess what? That's not about baseball.
It's very much about sex.
Very clearly about the nookie. Doesn't matter. Lots of folks weighing in. We talked all that. We talked the entire show about baseball, and that's going to be the podcast title.
We have to be the only show in America that's going to have multiple podcast titles this year featuring Limp Bizkit lyrics.
You're welcome. That's not great.
Shout out Fred Durst, I guess.
I'm going through the ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Lots of people weighing in. A lot of people were weighing in on your takes about Big League Chew as well.
Sure. Well, again, it's not like I don't like it. I'm just surprised that in today's social climate that it's been allowed to exist.
What's interesting is Ashton Sheboygan, he was weighing in on something else. Ryan McGuanago, rather, was saying Hubba Bubba or Bubblicious. And I think that's not even what I do. You think Hubba Bubba That's the one you have to untie.
Yeah,
That's
no.
more
same thing
baseball
with-
to me.
Yeah, and Bubblicious.
than
Those are the same thing.
Big League Chew.
Yeah.
Because they had buckets and
They would
buckets
just
of
come
them
with, yeah, they would come in buckets.
in the dugouts.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you were in the dugout pregame, you could walk over to the bucket and grab one. Nobody was going to say anything because, it's like half a cent.
The other thing about gum at baseball games that I don't think we're talking deeply enough about is when you get Big League Chew and it is a game, you're taking at least half the pack and just shoving it in your mouth.
Yeah, but I think that the more you shove in, the less enjoyable it is. And that is specifically about Big League Chew and nothing else.
I don't know how I could not change the title to that.
Please do. We don't need more Limp Bizkit references in the podcast titles of our
I'm just
show.
saying because then your mouth's all watery when you just shove all the stuff in there. And
Sure.
No, I'm telling you, that is.
I mean, I hope it is. Otherwise, it's a little dry,
That is not exclusive to the bubble gum. We in Germantown weighing in saying, going back to how baseball is supposed to bring me back as a former college pitcher, these new pitch clocks infuriate me, even though I preferred to work extremely fast. But there's nothing like working fast and then out of nowhere, staring the batter down for a solid 12 seconds to make him absolutely uncomfortable, knowing it's up to me when the ball is going to be thrown. That's a really interesting point, Gabe. Because, you talk about pace all the time and how if a guy gets used to your timing and then all of a sudden you decide to change up that timing, that can really mess up a hitter.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who played baseball a little bit professionally. He's a catcher. He doesn't like a lot of this stuff as well because it's taking a lot of the catcher out of it. Because now pitchers are going to start calling their own pitches with the pitch comm stuff that they have, and pitchers are just going to start calling their own pitches to make this thing flow a little bit better. I think you got to give it a chance because yes, every once in a while you'd like to stare in there, but you have to realize it's better for the professional game. Like, this didn't change anything at the lower levels. It didn't change anything in college. If you watch the World Baseball Classic, that was all still the same. There's not going to be a pitch clock in high school, but I think it's going to be better for the overall enjoyment of the game. Yes, that was something strategically you'd like to do, but the sooner you realize, and this is something that took me a long time to realize, sports are entertainment. At the end of the day, sports are entertainment. People are spending their discretionary income on things that entertain them. And if you don't put an entertaining product on television, on the field, something that people can just grab onto, the rest of it doesn't matter.
Andrew weighing in on the ESPN Wisconsin Talk and Text line. Brewers' schedule the first 2 months is brutal. We will know by June 1st if we are buyers or sellers at the trade deadline. Gabe, think fast.
Oh, whoa, why are we throwing it back? I caught it.
Yes, video.
What do we got there? That's a gift from the Brewers.
Oh, gift
I thought
from
we
the
should
Brewers.
open it before the show was over. Tell everybody what we got in this gift from the Brewers.
All right, so just a little sneak peek of what's happening at the at the ballpark coming up here. I think this is probably the one that people are most excited about. So Giannis, last year, 2 years ago, bought into the team. He's a minority owner of the Brewers. So the City Connect jersey from last year that everybody loves, a Giannis Antetokounmpo Brewers basketball jersey. That's, by the way, courtesy of ESPN Milwaukee. So you can get that April 8th. April 22nd, there's a Christian Yelich tumbler. So, this is a really good tumbler. There's a Barrelman t-shirt, blanket, so many different things. Oh, and by the way, opening day for the Barrel Yard, the new restaurant inside of the stadium. Nice little water cup, or I guess it's the Barrel Yard. Maybe you want to put something else in there that we can't drink while we're on there.
Like Dennis the Menace when they were painting the clubhouse, we did a pretty good job of being optimistic this morning.
One for 8?
We were very optimistic in the final segment
it is
of
what
the
it
show.
is, and
Have so much fun out there, Brewers fans. It's going to be a great season. Enjoy the ride. Wildy and Tausch is next on ESPN Wisconsin. We will see ya.
Back to no delays on the roads. Right now, 94 eastbound from Highway 16 to downtown is about 18 minutes. Same heading westbound. Moving from Highway Q to the Zoo on 41 southbound, you got about 14 minutes.